Can you tell that my ring light broke? Because the lighting is so good, right? That certainly is not it, but we're gonna go with it. I'm gonna stand over here because my bed is a complete mess. Let's get started. Okay, let me just tell you, this month, garbage in terms of rating. Actually, one of the worst months I've ever read. It's so bad. So are you excited to hear about them? I'm sure. Anyways, the first one is Glow by Raven Kennedy. I know. I'm actually confused because I loved book 2 and 3. Book 1 is like, I don't think that's anybody's favorite in the series. Like, it's just kind of like set up. This one, I was expecting to be fantastic because of the way that the last book ended. No, it was so boring. It felt like, you know, second book syndrome. Why was it fourth book syndrome? Fourth book, we're supposed to be getting a lot of action, a lot of fun things happening. It certainly wasn't. Do you know how long this book was? Can we also discuss that? It took me almost a year to get through it. I started in like July and we're almost there, kind of. So I gave it, what did I give it? I gave it 3 stars, which is a dramatic drop from the last one, which was 4.5, almost 5. It was so good. So I was very disappointed, but I will be reading the last one. I certainly will. The cover is quite beautiful, so I don't really care if it's bad. Also, I will hopefully at one point buy that series in that like special edition cover. Honestly, I like the original covers more, but I wish they were hardcover, you know. But I don't think they have them, unfortunately. But I would like to add them to my collection because the second and third book, they make up for I don't care. It's so good. But yeah, the last one, 3 stars. Next is a great book that took me over a year to read, which is called Hexhall. You may ask, Taylor, why were you reading this? It's like a middle grade. I don't know. I really don't, because why did I read it? It didn't even sound like it's about witches, which already I actually read like 2 witch books this month, which witches are never my thing. Like I never, oh, that's a witch book. I want to read it because it's witches. It's never my thing. I tried it. I don't know why. I really love a good paranormal romance. Who? Am I Australian? Paranormal romance is fun, but that one was like, it was supposed to be YA. It was supposed to be YA, but they were talking like they were 11. No, it was so bad. Like I was thinking I was reading a middle grade while reading it, and then I would go back and look on Goodreads. It's YA, young adult. Another thing, it was so short. It was like 300 something pages. Why did it take me over a year? But yeah, I would not recommend that. I gave it 2 stars. It's not for me and I will not be continuing. Sometimes if it's 2 stars and I'm like interested, I'll continue. I'm not even interested. The next book I read, sorry, I keep having to walk over to look what I read, but anyways, next book, Fractured Sky by Catherine Crosis. I don't remember the author. Catherine Crowless. I gave it 2 stars. This is a romance book. Could I tell you what it was? It feels like I read these 10 years ago. It was so bad though. I do remember that. Like this girl, she had been kidnapped as a child and then now she's an adult. Let me tell you how many times this girl got re-traumatized throughout the entire book. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. It was so bad. Not that I care about her, but like also, anyways. But it was just not great. It had to do with like a horse farm. Like she was staying on this horse farm of this random dude in the neighborhood. I don't know. Don't read it. And the thing is, I think the average rating is like really, really, really high. So I skipped all the books in the series to read it. And the average rating simply lied. It lied to me. So don't do that one. Next thing I read is The Devil Gets His Due by Elizabeth O'Rourke. This is another romance. I think this is the last book in the series, so I think I finished the series. I'm talented. I'm talented. I gave it 3.5 stars. I don't even remember this about. I'm sorry. When do I ever? But this is like, I think there's a baby involved. I think, what happened? Was there a baby? Oh, yes. This is one of those accidental pregnancy. Is that the case? I think they prepare. Oh, I remember. Okay, so the whole book we're just preparing for the main character to have a baby, and there's this guy who's kind of helping her prepare for the baby. But it was like he kept making comments like where he thought she was not going to be prepared, and he thought she was not going to be a good mother, and I was just like, ew, mind your own business. I'm aware that he's the father, but don't say things like that. I think overall it wasn't that bad. Like I gave it 3.5, but it was not my favorite in the series. I don't remember what my favorite was. I think it's the first book. The next book I read is This Side of the Grave by Janine Frost. This series, fantastic. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's so good. It's so enjoyable. It's like from the early 2000s paranormal romance, and it's so fun. Every book, like there's like something different in every book. I don't think it's like getting boring at this point because I'm on book 6 and it's still like I'm still entertained. I just started this morning and I'm like, I'm still into it, honestly, and I really like all the characters. Yeah, it's really fun, and I do really like the audiobooks, so if you were interested in the series by chance, the audiobooks are where to go. But I think there's 9 books total. I'm very excited about it. I'm not going to tell you what happened in this book at all because it's book 5. So if you're looking for like just a fun, lighthearted paranormal romance, I would recommend. It's also the first book I gave 3 stars. Like, it gets better as it goes on, I think. So if that one doesn't interest you as much when you read it, of course, just keep going. I gave that one 3.5, by the way. The rest of them I gave one 4.5. I gave one 4. Like, it was good. That one's just not my favorite, but it's still good. Next book no, I didn't. The next book I read is Vanessa Jareds Got a Man, and I gave that 3 stars. Do you see how this month went? Like, it's not good, but this one was fairly enjoyable. I feel like it was too short for me to be like really into it, and it just happened so quick. But this is a romance that I started. I remember exactly when I started because I was braiding my hair that whole day. But this was one of the books I read because I believe I read like 2 books. This was one of them. This was not one of them. So I read 2.5. I was enjoying it because it was fast-paced doing my hair, but like after that I was kind of like, this is too quick. Let me try and explain this because I actually do remember what happened. This woman, she was married and her husband like very emotionally abusive and not a good dude to be married to. So eventually divorced, and so a lot of the book is like the beginning is her talking about like how she's like getting over him and how she feels after being in an emotionally abusive relationship for many years. Next, this man is marrying another woman. The woman's brother comes to Vanessa, the main character, and asks her to talk to his sister and explain that that her ex-husband was abusive and try and get her out of that relationship before they got married. She wasn't gonna do it because she thought it was kind of like evil, like to break up their, like, even if it's for a good reason, she just didn't want to involve herself. But it turns out he stole her family ring and gave it to this woman. So she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go get it back. So she in fact did, and yeah. And obviously the romance is between her and the brother. So her and the brother, that sounds terrible. Her and the sister's brother, you know what I mean. They get like closer because she travels there and gets kind of stuck there because her car breaks down and stuff like that. So they just have a chill week, and that's why it was too quick. It was like, it was over a very quick amount of time. So that was higher 3 stars. Like, it was a solid 3 stars. A lot of the other ones were just not, but that was fairly good. I would recommend it if you want to read a quick romance. Like, it was pretty good. The last book, guys, I read a physical book. I certainly did. I read Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, and guess what I gave it? 2.5 stars. It's actually criminal that I gave this 2.5 because the first and second were 4. I loved them. They were so good. They were so enjoyable. What is this? A lot of people told me this was gonna be the best. I also thought this was gonna be the best, I'm not gonna lie. Because like, it just sounded like the setup was gonna be really nice. It was gonna be really fun. It was not, in my personal opinion. I can see why people would enjoy this. It was just not, oh no, something about it. It was no longer magical to me. Because the second one is my favorite, but something was lost here and I don't know what it is. I feel like a lot happened like throughout, but looking back, I'm like, what happened like at all? Because it definitely had a lot of plot, but weirdly it felt like nothing happened at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense, but this was not for me. Unfortunately, I like the color. Oh my god, cover. Do you know how many times I've messed that up? Every single time I try to say one of those words, the other one comes out. You can watch all of my videos back until 2020 and I cannot stop doing that. Anyways, cover. I like the cover, okay? The second cover is my favorite though, so I guess the second is just superior. There's a spin-off series or book, I don't know if it's a series, spin-off coming out of this. It's with Envy as the main character, and the description already sounded good, and there's like a chapter at the end of this from Envy's point of view, and it just sounded like I was gonna enjoy it more. Like, I'm ready. I need some new characters because they were getting on my nerves a little bit, and I'm not gonna lie, in this book, Wrath, worthless? He wasn't worthless, but he might as well have been. Like, to me, he was not a main character. He was a side character because I don't remember him in this much. Again, I know he was, okay? I know he had a part in this book, but where was it? I'm trying to find it. Anyways, so 2.5. Unfortunately, this is how I ended the month. It was not my least favorite book of the month, but it was not the favorite. Let me see what my favorite and least favorite books are. My favorite is probably This Side of the Grave, and my least favorite is probably Fractured Sky. I hated that month. That month was just not good, I think. Overall, that is it for this month. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.